Okay, the next discussion will explore how proof of reputation consensus, okay, good, aims to deliver enterprise-ready, hyper-scalable blockchains with a focus on fairness and transparency. We will discuss how reputation-based mechanisms could transform the blockchain landscape for both businesses and users, setting the stage for the future of decentralized systems. So, I'd like to invite on stage the founder and CEO of the Circular Protocol, Gianluca De Novi, and me as moderator, Gordon Einstein. So welcome me. Clap. Good. Thank you. I guess they don't want me to talk. Before I even get into this, who are you and what is the Circular Protocol?
Nobody.
Huh?
Nobody.
Nobody. Is that like a Game of Thrones thing?
Well, I'm Italian, if that might help you. I live in the United States.
You're the only Italian who thinks he's nobody.
It's all Italians. Yeah, we have
sure.
a long story. Anyway.
Circular Protocol.
Circular Protocol. I'm the CEO and founder. I'm also a faculty at Harvard Medical School.
Okay.
I've been working for a while in healthcare, mostly, and worked, I will say, for the past 15 years on DoD-funded research. And at some point, I looked at the market landscape of layer ones, and I just realized that if you wanted to build a real healthcare application, there was no layer one that could be compliant. So if you start taking all the most common frameworks like HIPAA, GDPR, you find out that some of them will not pass the compliance.
So.
And that's how I locked myself in a basement and I started building it.
Wow, and when was that?
During COVID time.
Say again?
During COVID time.
During COVID time.
Yeah.
COVID time was great. I got a lot done.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Me too.
Who misses COVID? No, we shouldn't do that. Okay, that's not nice. Okay, so I have my wonderful list of questions. Are you ready? I know you are.
Go ahead.
Okay, how does proof of reputation create verifiable and tamper-resistant audit trails, particularly for compliance-driven sectors like healthcare and finance?
Okay, so that's the thing. I've been looking, like I was saying, all the other layer ones, and what happened is that you find out that it doesn't matter what, however you move, or you flip the thing, it's always everything heading toward centralization, which might be hardware centralization, financial centralization. It becomes harder and harder to identify a way to make it really, truly decentralized as a paradigm.
Sure.
So I needed to find a way that could be available for everybody. Even a student in a dorm can eventually have a validator, but still a profitable one. So because that's one of the issues. We want to mine Bitcoins, but if you don't put the right hardware, you're not going to have a profitable paradigm. So I came up with this consensus mechanism, and this consensus mechanism uses what is called a reputation index. And instead of slashing a stake, it's pretty much slashing your future earnings. So coins that you don't have yet. So there is when you earn transaction fees or block rewards, it's multiplied by this reputation index, which is a number between 0 and 1. It's a very simple thing.
Okay.
If it's 1, you get the whole transaction. If it's 0.5, you get half. So depending from how the reputation plays, you have a different type of earnings compared to the others.
And maybe I missed it, but just say it again. Walk me through how you gain or lose reputation.
Of course. So obviously you are in a network, and you are ideally the majority of the network is always right, unless there is a 51% attack, And in that case, when you're a consensus report...
I thought my wife was always right.
I know, but that is a different story.
I mean,
Not only yours.
It's called he said home consensus. Wife is always right.
So I was saying, whenever a node is in dissonance with the other, the reputation goes down with the majority. And when instead is in,
Sorry, am I understanding this correctly? If you're not with the majority, your reputation goes down?
That's correct.
Okay,
Which is
and so we're making an assumed correlation between majority decision and correct decision, I think.
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, the hypothesis is always the same, but the majority of consensus, if you think about, are based on the same principle. The full Byzantine consensus is that if the majority say one thing, that's the right thing.
Okay.
That's how it works.
I just want to understand. And do people have different weights in this process, or is it equal by agent, or how do you do it?
They have the reputation index. That's all. So if they are always, in the staking, why you have the staking? You have the staking to avoid the 51% attack. Mm-hmm. You don't have the staking because you want to avoid malicious nodes, because you can stake $100,000 but still $10 million. So that's not really a deterrent.
Sure.
And that's why I don't like the paradigm, because it's just creating an entry barrier for every little player. I want everybody to be able to have a node on my network. And for me, the minimum requirement is a Raspberry Pi. So a very small computer is a $30 computer. And you can run a node and still be profitable with that scale.
So you have a different consensus mechanism, and the mechanism you chose sounds like it favors decentralization. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, so
okay.
It's a bit more complex, but there are several actors. So first of all, we have only one type of nodes. We don't have different type of nodes, the node and the validator. Mm-hmm. So we have the node that does the validation. So it's all in one single structure. What we have instead is a gatekeeper, a number of network access gateways that are also decentralized. Anyone can provision one. And they simply forward the traffic proportionally to different nodes. All the nodes are allocated within shards, but they're not shards like in other layer ones. Mm. We use an algorithm called auto-progressive sharding.
And say it again?
Auto-progressive sharding.
Auto-progressive sharding.
Yep. So instead of putting the nodes randomly in the shards, we try to put all the slow nodes toward the low shards and all the fast toward the top. Okay. So that each node compete with peers. Otherwise, in each shard, you are going at the speed of the slowest one, because the blockchain is a sequential data structure.
Yes.
So the global state, it's a sequential global state.
Yes. Okay.
Also,
sorry. What's your background?
I'm an expert in high-performance computing.
Okay.
I'm an engineer.
My kind of guy. All right. Go on. This is interesting.
Yeah. So then the traffic is forwarded proportionally depending from a score index that is depending from connectivity and processing power to the different shards. So that who invests a lot in hardware gets more traffic, but who uses very small computers still gets enough traffic to make the system profitable. So that's the difference. Everything is designed for fairness. How can I make this fair for everybody, even the little guy that comes here and wants to put a couple of $100 and still run a node and start making some bucks out of it?
Okay, now walk me through why is this particularly applicable? It sounds like it's generally applicable, but tell me why it's particularly applicable to, say, healthcare and finance.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why the majority of the layer one will not pass compliance is that, for example, institutions will never use public blockchains. For the hardcore applications, they will have to require a private chain. But when that happens, in the majority of the cases, you end up with a centralized chain, which runs in a data center, which is limiting and defeats the purpose of the blockchain in the first place. So for that, our system is not a single chain, but is a multi-blockchain. We have multiple blockchains that live within the same network. So when we want to have a permissioned blockchain, we just add one more instance of that blockchain within the same network. You inherit the decentralization of that network.
So is it multiple instances of the same blockchain type, or is it different blockchain techs woven together? There
is some freedom, meaning that there are different type of encryptions. There are parameters that can be set for the different blockchains.
But is it one blockchain tech that you're applying different parameters to?
No, multiple chains, parallel chains.
Okay.
And then you can use them as standalone chains, or you can use them as a parallel chain, and then you can actually mint blocks in parallel. So you can also go fast. That's why hyperscalable, because actually you scale in 3 dimensions now.
Okay.
Other blockchains scale in 1 dimension, which is the shards. How many shards you have? We scale it depending from the number of shards, the number of chains, and the parallelism of execution of the transactions.
And
so you scale in 3
parallel
dimensions.
can be more than 2, yes?
Yeah.
So it's like a 3.x
Can
dimensional.
be many more, yeah.
Interesting, okay. And then just diving a little bit deeper, and this appeals to, I guess, my lawyer heart. This seems to have applications in GDPR, in HIPAA, which of course is the US health regulation.
Yeah,
and
because
privacy law, maybe?
Yeah, you can have fully decentralized private chain, first of all, without spending 1 penny for a new node, for hardware. You don't need new hardware, we give the network. But it's also jurisdictional, because we can also partition nodes within a certain country. So we have simple nodes and certified nodes. In the certified nodes, we know where the node is physically. So we can guarantee that your processing is within a country, for example. US regulators will not allow even simple signatures to go on a ledger that is being processed in China.
Really?
They will not.
Interesting, okay. And maybe you can tease out the GDPR relationship a little bit?
It's pretty much the same. In the end, it's all about where the data is being processed, where it's going to reside. So it's in the end, on a ledger, you don't really have data. You have metadata and you have signatures in most cases. So, but in some cases, even the simple timestamp can be a problem, because you can look at density of transactions and they can tell a story. So there are many other aspects connected to that. For example, we are right now validating and about to release a system for a clinical trial certification. And we do 2 different things. From one side, we do certification of data like all the other blockchains through ZKP, but we also do process certification through what we call hyper contracts, which is a 2-stage smart contract. The first stage is deployed in the network. It's just a regular smart contract. It acts like an interface. And then that smart contract elects through a decentralized random number generator several nodes. These nodes create instance in GPU superpods, deploy the second stage of the script, which is a Python script. They process, and then everything goes back to the first stage, which has your consensus implemented on the output. So now you have a picture of the data in input, a picture of the algorithm, a picture of the decision-making process. So this is very important for governments and for any entity, institution that does a decision-making.
Now, it sounds to me like you, during your COVID monk phase, sort of looked over the world of existing blockchain and existing blockchain tech and existing consensus mechanisms, and maybe found them wanting. Is that fair to say?
I tried to get the best from all of them. We still have the work, with the only difference that the work is performed only by one single node, not by the entire network. And we don't have the stake, but we slash on the future earnings of the nodes. It's just a different paradigm that doesn't have entry barriers, doesn't create hardware centralization, and still address the problem of the consensus itself. It's quite fast, actually.
Interesting. Now, this process sounds like a heavy lift. Was it you? Was it a team? How did you?
You will not believe it, but the first draft of everything was implemented by myself alone.
So you're
now
not,
I have a team.
You're not nobody, even though you're Italian. See? Oh, come on.
Now I have a team. We have developers.
Now the real.
It's different.
Comes up.
White hair.
Is that Italian support? He did it by himself. This is the man. Okay.
It's just the work. That's it.
Okay. False modesty doesn't.
I was bored by COVID.
I was bored too, but I didn't spin up a blockchain.
It's okay. But I couldn't do in a garage because in Massachusetts happened to be very cold, so I had to go in a basement.
Wow, just don't tell me it was your mother's basement. Okay, so interesting. So the first version you did yourself, bravo. going forward, how do you scale it? Do you have a team? Is it an investable thing? Like, what's the?
Yeah,
I know you're
right
not
now,
soliciting, but just kind of walk me through the roadmap.
Right now, the blockchain is live. So
Okay.
the main infrastructure is all live and working. Right now, we are building all the user tools, all the tooling, all the interfaces to simplify the work. So by Christmas, we're going to release a number of software. We are running right now a seed round of investment. We closed the pre-seed in 40 days. It was pretty fast. Mm-hmm. And we were 4 people when we started. We're 27 right now. And
Bravo. Good job.
Yeah, and growing, yeah. 1 year and a half, I think it's been pretty fast.
That's fantastic. But maybe you said it. I'm sorry if I missed it. Your plans going forward?
Yeah. Token launched, already available on several exchanges.
Okay.
Yeah, now we are probably going to open here in Dubai.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Well, in the last 20 seconds, why Dubai?
Because what impressed me is the attitude of people being extremely focused on what they are doing, on what put them together, rather than what put them apart, rather than their differences. It's really about attitude, and that was impressive since the first day I came here.
Brother, that's a great note to end on. Big round of applause. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Super.